Welcome to the Sales Hunter podcast. I'm Mark Hunter. And hey, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about what does it take to really be a great salesperson. In my book, A Mind for Sales, I listed 18 things. And in today's episode, I'm going to go through 6. So, hey, let's get on with the show, shall we?
You're listening to the Sales Hunter podcast with Mark Hunter, where the focus is to help you as a salesman sell with confidence and integrity. And now here's your host.
Hey, it's great to be able to share with you today 6 of the traits of what it does it take to be a top performing salesperson. It's another solo episode. I get so much feedback. Hey, I love having guests. I do, absolutely do. But boy, I tell you what, I get a lot of feedback and we get a lot of downloads on some of these solo ones. So I'm going to kind of ping maybe a few more of these down the road for you. But hey, let's get right into it. Number 1, top salespeople protect their time and the time of others. Now, stop and think about that for just a moment. What are we talking about here? We're talking about one very simple thing. Time is the most valuable asset you have. It's not your customer list. It's not what you sell. It's not your territory. It's not any of that sort of stuff. It's your time. And great salespeople absolutely protect their time. And they also protect the time of others, because here's the whole thing. Top performing people hang out with top performing people. It's just that simple. I mean, it's amazing how top performing people really wind up with great customers. And they too, then, the customers are the ones that are protecting their own time. See? So in other words, it's a two-way street. It has to be a two-way street, but it's amazing at what happens there. Hey, number 2 is top salespeople know that each day it's their job to influence and impact people. I'm going to challenge you every morning when you get up to say this line: who will I influence and impact today? And then take a piece of paper and write down the names of people who you intend to influence and impact. And at the end of the day, go back and look at that paper and say, did you do that? You know what's very interesting is when we are focused, mission driven in being able to influence and impact people, it's amazing how much more we listen and how much more we really do help people. You see, top performing salespeople are not about just taking the money. They're really about helping people, because they know that really top performing salespeople help others see and achieve what they didn't think was possible. In order to do that, you have got to understand that your role is to first influence and impact people. Hey, number 3 on my list here, top salespeople know the importance of prospecting. Wow, I can't stress this one enough for one very simple reason. The number one reason salespeople don't have enough deals to close is because they don't have enough in their pipeline. And they don't have enough in their pipeline because they haven't spent enough time prospecting. There's an old phrase that I love to use, and that is the economy is driven by business. Business is driven by sales. Sales is driven by prospecting. Whoa. I guess sales is at the top of the food chain or at the bottom of the food chain. I don't care however you want to put it, but it drives everything. And the top performing salespeople understand the value of it. You see, one of the things I find is that top performing salespeople are very quick to sit there and say, okay, I need to take care of this customer, but that's customer service. You see, taking care of existing business is customer service. Salespeople know that their job is to go out and create incremental opportunities. Hey, that's a reason why I said number 2 was what it was. And that was, top salespeople knew that it's their job each day to influence and impact people, because only when I begin to influence and impact people can I begin to understand their needs. And that's really how I create incremental opportunities. Wow, I can't even pronounce that right. Incremental opportunities. You see, here's the whole situation here. When we understand the importance of prospecting, it is amazing at what begins to happen. because again, we're now in the zone of creating incremental. Now, when we talk about prospect, let me break this down into a couple different ways because some of you might be challenging me. Hold it, Mark, I have existing accounts and yeah. So you may have existing accounts and your prospecting may very well be to get more business from that account by selling them more SKUs, by getting into different divisions, by finding other ways that you can help them, by selling them incremental benefits. So you can do that with existing accounts. Yes, you can. There's another form of prospecting that occurs by way of referrals. Okay. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. You have referrals coming in, and that's a great way to grow your business. I got a master class on that. I've got a whole new set of material that's going to be coming out very shortly on that. But that's another way to prospect. And then there's another way to prospect, and that is via marketing. In other words, the marketing efforts, whether it be trade shows, et cetera, et cetera. Now, here's the whole situation. It comes down to the core, though, that you have to own your prospecting process. And this is what too many average salespeople don't do. They don't own prospecting. They don't own their lead list. You see, I'm going to drive this point home. Top performing salespeople, okay, they're all about, hey, getting more business from existing accounts, all that sort of stuff. But they know it's their responsibility. They don't sit there and pass blame on marketing. That's the big difference. They're fully willing to take referrals. They're fully willing to get business that falls in their lap. They're fully willing to get business that marketing brings to them, leads that bring, but they know it's their job to go out and get them. I can't stress that enough. Number 4, top salespeople never end the day without knowing what they're going to do the next day. You see, they plan. I see so many salespeople waking up in the morning and they don't have a clue as to what they're going to do. Well, I'm going to wait for the phone to ring. I'm going to see what emails come in. Hold it. That means time is controlling you. Remember my first thing I said, how top performing salespeople understand the value of their time? Yeah, they do. Boy, they understand the value of their time. So what does that mean? They never end the day without knowing exactly what they're going to do the next day. And what does this entail? This means sitting down for 15, 20 minutes at the end of the day and looking at your schedule for the next day and laying out very specifically who are the people you're going to be reaching out to. What are the calls to action? What are all of those pieces that you've got to be doing to get engaged the next day? Because here's what happens, I find. People wake up in the morning, I guess these are on my prospecting list. And they spend all day thinking about that prospect, but they never make the call. The calls never get made. So what I want to do is I want to take this last 15, 20 minutes of the day that many times is more kind of like, I'm just kind of winding down. Ratchet it up, make it happen, and plan your next activities for the next day. Number 5, top salespeople never stop learning. Hey, a lot of people are chiming in here, and one person saying, what's the book in the background? It's actually the book that I wrote that these 18 things are actually in, and that's A Mind for Sales. So these 18 things, I'm only sharing 6 in this podcast episode, all come from the book A Mind for Sales. But top performing salespeople never stop learning. I can't stress this enough. See, this is the difference again between average and great. Now, average salespeople sit there and will say, there's nothing to learn here. There's nothing to learn here. I don't need to go follow up this. I don't need to go take a look at this. I don't need to do that. Great salespeople say, hey, there's always something to learn. And as a result, they get zeroed in and they get focused. And they learn something because they're listening better. They are listening better. Top salespeople never stop learning. Top salespeople go into each day expecting to learn something. And again, another question they ask themselves at the end of the day is, what did I learn? Other people are asking, hey, did I do the Audible book? Yes, I did. It's as read by the author. And you're right. People are loving to share the book A Mind for Sales with their sales team. And of course, this podcast, subscribe to the podcast. you might be catching this right now by way of LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, but catch the podcast, the Sales Hunter podcast. So, hey, because again, it's one of those ways that you can never stop learning. Yes. Now, hey, number 6 here, and the last one I'm going to get to. Top salespeople own the process. They don't pass blame. They don't pass blame. Oh, man. Wow. You see, again, average salespeople are quick to say, oh, somebody didn't do this. Somebody didn't do that. No, 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 no. You wind up making yourself more powerful when you own the process. You take control of everything. And when you take control of everything, it's amazing. Hey, we got a great audience chiming in today. What you've been listening to is the Sales Hunter podcast, a solo episode where I just kind of want to rip through some items, some of the 6 of the 18 things as to how you too can be a top performing salesperson. Do me a favor. If you like the podcast, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. Hey, if something I've said has helped you at all, share it with a friend. Share it with others on your sales team. The Sales Hunter podcast is about one thing. It's about helping you grow. Because when you grow, it's amazing what else can happen with your customers. Because why? You will ultimately help them see and achieve what they didn't think was possible. Check out the Sales Hunter University. I'm Mark Hunter. Hey, thank you for listening to the Sales Hunter podcast.